The rain had been falling all evening, soft at first, then heavier as the night settled in. My wipers thudded in a steady rhythm, clearing streaks of water from the windshield as I navigated through Garrett's quiet neighborhood. The streets glistened under the glow of the streetlights, reflecting in shimmering pools across the pavement. I could already see his porch light in the distance, warm and golden against the gray drizzle. Saturday night meant game night, a ritual we'd kept alive since college, even as jobs, relationships, and life tried to pull us apart. It was supposed to be fun, an escape from deadlines and loneliness, from the relentless hum of an empty apartment. For me, it had become more than that. It was a lifeline, a fragile thread holding me together after my dad passed away 18 months ago. Dad wasn't just my father. He was everything. The man who taught me to ride a bike on a cracked driveway, who worked double shifts so I could go to college, who still called me every Sunday just to say, "Proud of you, son." When cancer came for him, it was slow and cruel. 2 years of watching the strongest man I knew fade to a shadow of himself. And then, gone. Even now, the grief clung to me like a second skin. I'd started therapy, tried meditation, even ran half marathons just to burn the ache out of my chest. But it never really left. I reached up, touching the cool metal of the watch on my wrist. His watch. I wore it everywhere. A quiet anchor to remind me that once I belonged to someone who loved me unconditionally. Pulling into Garrett's driveway, I killed the engine and sat for a moment, listening to the patter of rain on the roof. Voices floated faintly from inside, laughter mixing with the muffled beat of some Spotify playlist. I forced a smile. Tonight, I told myself, would be easy. Light. No heavy thoughts. Just friends and stupid jokes. The front door swung open before I could knock. Garrett stood there, all broad shoulders and that same easy grin he'd had since sophomore year. "Dougie boy," he said, pulling me into a quick hug. The scent of garlic bread hit me the second I stepped inside, warm and inviting. The living room glowed with string lights draped across the windows. A coffee table groaned under the weight of snacks. Bowls of chips, plates of cookies, a half-empty bottle of whiskey next to a lineup of soda cans. Ava was perched on the arm of the couch, phone in hand, smiling as she adjusted it against a water glass. "Capturing the vibes," she said with a wink. "Game night aesthetic." Ramen sat cross-legged on the floor, already halfway through a beer. "About time, man. We were about to start without you." And then there was Natalie. She didn't look like she belonged at a casual hangout. Not really. Navy blazer over a satin cami, skinny jeans that probably cost more than my monthly car payment, and those heels, the click of them against Garrett's hardwood echoed like punctuation. Her makeup was immaculate, lipstick bold and sharp as her smile. Natalie always had an edge to her, a confidence that bordered on arrogance. The kind of person who reminded you, subtly of course, that she was destined for bigger things. "Doug," she said, barely glancing up from her wine glass. Finally, we settled in, shuffled the deck, and soon the room was filled with laughter, the kind that comes easy after a couple of drinks and a few dark jokes. For the first time that day, the heaviness in my chest loosened, and then came the lull, that quiet space between rounds, where everyone checks their phones or grabs another snack. That's when Natalie spoke. "Oh my God," she said suddenly, her voice slicing through the chatter. "Remember Douglas's dad's funeral? When he was up there giving a eulogy and just lost it." The words hit me like a punch. Before I could breathe, she was mimicking me, hands at her eyes, loud, fake sobbing noises echoing through the room. "Boo-hoo-hoo." His face was all red and snotty. I swear I almost burst out laughing. Funniest thing I've ever seen. Silence. The kind that makes the air feel heavier. Everyone froze. I felt every muscle in my body lock, my pulse pounding in my ears. Ramen's voice cracked the tension. "What the hell, Nat?" She looked around like we were the crazy ones. "What?" It was funny. This grown man crying like a baby in front of everyone. "That was my father's funeral," I said quietly, my voice barely a whisper over the pounding in my chest. "I know." Her smile curled sharper. That's what made it so funny. Mr. Tough Guy Douglas breaking down. Garrett started, "Babe, that's not—" "Oh, please." She rolled her eyes. He knows I'm joking, right? You can laugh about it now, can't you, Doug? I stared at her. My hands clenched so tight my nails bit into my palms. Every part of me wanted to lash out to make her feel an ounce of what I felt. Instead, I took a breath, counted to 5. Good times, I said flatly. She smirked, sipping her wine. See? He gets it. God, you guys are so sensitive. What Natalie didn't know. Ava's phone, still propped up for those aesthetic vibes, had been recording the whole time. And that little detail would change everything. The air felt heavier after that laugh. You know how sometimes silence has a weight? Like it presses down on your chest, making it harder to breathe? That's what this was. Garrett cleared his throat, tried to steer the conversation somewhere else. But the damage was done. Natalie didn't notice, or didn't care. She just scrolled through her phone like nothing had happened. I kept my eyes on the cards in my hand, pretending to study them, though the numbers swam in front of me. Inside, I was burning. My jaw clenched so hard it ached. My heart hammered against my ribs. And for a second, I wondered if everyone could hear it. "Hey," Raman said softly, leaning toward me. "You okay, man?" I nodded, forcing my mouth into something that resembled a smile. "Yeah, I lied." My voice didn't even sound like mine. Garrett tried to lighten the mood. "All right, next round, yeah? Ava, your turn to deal." Ava hesitated, her phone still resting on the glass. I saw her glance at me, then back at Natalie, her jaw tightening. She didn't say anything, though. None of them did. And that silence? That was worse than Natalie's words. We played a few more hands, but the vibe was dead. Every laugh sounded fake. Every joke fell flat. Natalie, of course, was oblivious. Or maybe she wasn't. Maybe she liked it this way, liked watching everyone squirm. By the time I left, the rain had stopped, but the air outside was cold enough to bite. I walked to my car without saying much, just muttered something about being tired. Garrett offered a quick, "See you next week," like nothing had happened, but something had. The next morning, I woke up to a ping from my phone. One notification after another. Instagram tags. Comments. Mentions. Confused, I opened the first one and froze. There I was, sitting on Garrett's couch, face pale and tight as Natalie laughed about my dad's funeral. The video was shaky but clear enough to hear every word. Natalie's fake sobbing, her saying, "Funniest thing I've ever seen." And then me, sitting there like a ghost. My stomach dropped. The caption read, "Imagine being this heartless skull, hashtag game night gone wrong, hashtag WTF. I scrolled through the comments. What kind of psycho mock someone's dead dad? This Natalie chick needs help. Bro, the look on his face. I feel so bad for him. Tag her job. HR needs to see this. I clicked Ava's profile. She'd posted the clip on her story first, and it had blown up overnight. Reposts. Duets on TikTok. Twitter threads calling Natalie every name in the book. People weren't just angry. They were furious. And the worst part? Natalie leaned into it. Instead of apologizing, she doubled down. Commented under one post. "Wow. Can't believe people can't take a joke anymore. Soft generation." Another tweet. "Sorry, but cry like that at a funeral is cringe." Someone had to say it. Every word was gasoline on the fire. By noon, her name was trending. People were digging up her old posts, screenshots of her bragging about being unfiltered. Someone even found her LinkedIn. The comments under her latest selfie? Brutal. I sat on my couch, phone in hand, feeling nothing. No, that's not true. I felt something, but it was a relief. It wasn't justice. It was hollow. This wasn't supposed to happen. All I wanted was one night to feel normal. One night where the ache of losing Dad didn't swallow me whole. Instead, the whole world was watching my grief like it was some viral soap opera. And Natalie, she was loving every second of it. By evening, things escalated. People started sending death threats to her DMs. Her work email leaked. A clip of her mocking me played on every reaction channel on YouTube. She'd officially become the internet's villain of the week. And me? I couldn't stop watching the video. Over and over, like a car crash I couldn't look away from. My own face, frozen, humiliated, broken, staring back at me. For the first time since Dad died, I didn't cry. I just felt tired. And deep down, I knew this wasn't over. Not by a long shot. Because Natalie wasn't the type to back down. She was the type to fight back. And when she did, people were going to bleed. The storm didn't hit the next day. It hit that night, around midnight. My phone buzzed again, notifications piling up like an avalanche. I thought it was more people dragging Natalie, more strangers calling her a monster. But then I saw it. Her post. Not a comment. Not a tweet. A full-blown, rage-fueled video. The thumbnail was her face, streaked with mascara, eyes red and wild. And the caption? My side of the story. My stomach sank. Against every instinct screaming, don't click. I tapped play. Natalie's voice came through shaky at first, but then it hardened into something sharp, venomous. So apparently, I'm the villain of the internet now. Cool. But here's what none of you know. That guy, yeah, him, isn't some innocent victim. He's fake. He's been milking his dad's death for attention since day one. You think I'm heartless? Try watching him guilt trip everyone into feeling sorry for him at every single game night. My mouth went dry. She kept going. Oh, and here's the best part. He begged me to come last night. Literally texted me, saying, please don't bail. I need you there. And now he wants to act all broken and betrayed? Give me a break. Her phone screen flashed on the video, showing messages. Our messages. Snippets cropped, twisted to fit her narrative. Out of context, they look bad, like I was clinging to her, desperate for company. She smirked at the camera. So yeah, cancel me if you want. But don't forget, he's not a saint. Far from it. The video ended there. 2 minutes of pure poison. And the comments? They exploded. Half the people were still tearing her apart. But the other half started to wonder, wait, is this true? He begged her to come? Kinda changes things. This is messy AF. Someone dropped the full receipts. And then came the DMs. Dozens of them. Some supportive. Some accusing. Some threatening. I threw my phone across the couch and just sat there, staring at the wall. My head buzzed with static. I hadn't asked for this. I didn't want a war. I just wanted my life back. But Natalie? She wanted blood. The next day, it got worse. She didn't stop at one video. She posted 3 more, each one nastier than the last. She called me a manipulator, an emotional leech. Even hinted that I made up parts of my dad's funeral story for sympathy. People ate it up. The hashtags changed. Yesterday, it was hashtag cancel Natalie. Now, hashtag both are toxic. Hashtag game night drama. Hashtag who is lying. Reaction channels flipped sides mid-video. Memes started popping up, turning my grief into a punchline. And Natalie? She was thriving, going live every night, crying on camera, spinning the narrative like a pro. But then she crossed a line. One evening, I got a text from Ava. Just 4 words. She posted your dad. My hands shook as I opened Instagram. And there it was, a photo of my dad, smiling, holding me when I was a kid. A photo I'd posted years ago on Father's Day. Natalie had ripped it, slapped it on a black background, and wrote in bold white letters, he deserves better than a son who uses his death for clout. The comments were a war zone. People screaming at her, others agreeing. My head spun, my vision blurred with heat and shame and something darker than anger. This wasn't drama anymore. This was war. And I realized something in that moment. Something cold and sharp that settled in my bones. If I didn't fight back, she'd destroy me. Completely. That night, I didn't sleep. I sat in the dark, phone in hand, scrolling through every receipt, every screenshot, every whispered truth I had on her. I wasn't going to survive this by staying silent. Natalie wanted a war. She was about to get one. I didn't sleep that night. Not even for a second. I sat on the edge of my bed in the glow of my laptop, heart pounding like a drum, scrolling through years of messages, photos, and voice notes. Every ping, Every vibration from my phone made me flinch. Natalie had turned my dad into a weapon. She dragged his memory through the mud. That wasn't drama anymore. That was war. And wars have casualties. At 3:17 a.m., I had everything I needed. Receipts, screenshots, videos, things Natalie prayed the world would never see. Drunken rants at 2 a.m. about how she hated her so-called best friends. Messages trashing her own parents. Even that voice note where she laughed about scamming a brand out of $5,000 for a fake sponsorship. And then I found the big one. A folder labeled Vegas Trip 2022. Curiosity pulled me in like a rip current. Inside were photos. Dozens of them. Natalie with some guy who was definitely not her boyfriend at the time. Him kissing her neck. Her laughing. Holding a champagne glass. Flipping off the camera. She cheated. And not just once. The internet would eat this alive. But as my finger hovered over the upload button, something in my gut twisted. This wasn't me. I wasn't a monster. I wasn't her. Then I saw it, her latest story. Posted 5 minutes ago. A black screen with white text. Some people shouldn't have survived the car crash that killed their dad. Just saying. My chest went cold. That was it. The line she couldn't uncross. I hit post. The video was brutal. I didn't just share the cheating photos. I narrated everything. Every dirty secret she ever whispered. Every mask she wore in public. I didn't hold back. Here's the real Natalie. I said in the voiceover, my voice low and steady. The girl who preaches loyalty while sleeping with strangers in Vegas. The girl who scams brands for cash. Who mocks her own friends behind their backs. You wanted my side of the story? Here it is. I ended the video with her laughing drunkenly into the camera, saying, honestly, I could ruin anyone if I wanted. People are so dumb. I uploaded it to TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, everywhere. And then I waited. The first hour was quiet. Just a few notifications. Then it exploded. Hashtag exposing Natalie was trending worldwide. My video hit 1 million views in under 2 hours. Screenshots flooded Reddit. Reaction channels went live, dissecting every frame. Natalie's empire crumbled in real time. Brand deals dropped. Followers bleeding by the thousands. Her boyfriend publicly dumped her on Instagram Live. She went from smug and untouchable to a ghost. But then she came back swinging. At 10 a.m., my phone buzzed with a notification that made my stomach lurch. Natalie just went live. Against my better judgment, I clicked. Her face filled the screen. Eyes swollen, makeup smeared, hair a mess. But her voice was steady. Cold. You think you know everything? You think you won? Cute. But here's the thing, you're not the only one with secrets. She reached off-screen, grabbed a folder, and held it up to the camera. You really thought I wouldn't keep receipts? Let's show the world who Douglas really is. My blood turned to ice. She started pulling out papers, photos, screenshots of me, things I'd forgotten about, things I'd buried. And then she dropped the bomb. How about we talk about that night? You know which one, Douglas. The comments exploded. What night? Spill the tea. OMG, this just got dark. I couldn't breathe. My hands shook as I closed the stream. What did she have? What did she mean? And why did I feel guilty? Because the truth was, I had secrets too. Secrets that could destroy me. And Natalie? She was about to weaponize every single one. I stared at my screen like it was a ticking bomb. Natalie's live was everywhere. Screen recorded, clipped, reposted. Millions of views in minutes. And that one line haunted me. You know which night, Douglas. What night? But I knew. Deep down, I knew. 2 years ago, the night of the crash. I never told anyone the full truth. Not my therapist. Not my mom. Not even myself. That night, my dad wanted to drive home. He'd had 2 beers at dinner. Nothing crazy, but enough for me to worry. I offered to take the wheel. He laughed it off. Said, relax, kid. I'm fine. But I didn't relax. I argued. Yelled. We fought all the way to the car. The last thing I said to him before the tires screeched and the world flipped was, "God, I wish you weren't my father." And then there was glass, metal, silence. I walked away with a broken arm. He never woke up. Natalie knew. She was the first person I called that night, sobbing, rambling about the fight, the crash, the guilt eating me alive. She held that secret for 2 years. And now she was about to weaponize it in front of the entire world. My phone buzzed, a DM from Natalie. "Natalie, 1 hour. Apologize publicly. Take down your video. Or I end you." My hands shook as I typed back. "Me, you wouldn't." "Natalie, try me." The clock started ticking. I paced my room like a caged animal. Every option felt like a noose. If I gave in, she'd own me forever. If I didn't, she'd destroy me. And then I saw it. My laptop screen still open to the folder of her photos, her secrets. All that dirt I hadn't used yet. For a second, the old me hesitated. The version of Douglas who believed in fairness, in mercy. But that Douglas died the moment Natalie dragged my dad's memory through the dirt. I opened Photoshop. I opened my editing software. And I built something so explosive it made my hands sweat. 30 minutes later, I hit upload. The video wasn't just receipts this time. It was a full-blown documentary. Every lie Natalie ever told, every betrayal, every ugly truth stitched together with timestamps, witnesses, voice notes. I didn't blur faces. I didn't censor names. And then came the nuclear bomb, the footage I wasn't supposed to have. Vegas wasn't her only secret trip. She had a private OnlyFans under a fake name. I had proof, subscriptions, bank transfers, screenshots of her bragging about making men pay for nothing. The internet didn't just eat it up. It obliterated her. Natalie's brand wasn't just dead. It was scorched earth. Her sponsors cut ties publicly. Her friends made videos distancing themselves. Her own family posted a statement. "We are ashamed." By midnight, hashtag Cancel Natalie wasn't just trending. It was the #1 hashtag on every platform. And me? I was trending too. Half the internet calling me a hero. The other half calling me a monster. Then my phone rang. Unknown number. I answered. Silence at first. Then a shaky breath. Natalie. Her voice was unrecognizable. Small. Broken. "You win, Douglas." "Happy." I froze. For a second, I felt nothing. No triumph. No satisfaction. Just a hollow echo where my rage used to be. "I didn't want this." I whispered. "Liar," she said. "You loved every second." The line went dead. The next morning, the news broke. Influencer Natalie, last name, reported missing after online scandal. Her car was found by a bridge. Her phone on the passenger seat. No sign of her. The internet went insane. Some blamed me. Some said she deserved it. Me? I stared at that headline for hours, numb. Because the truth? I didn't know if I wanted her to be dead or alive. That night, I opened my messages. The last DM she ever sent me was still there. "You know which night, Douglas." I typed a reply. Just one word. "Sorry." I hit send, even though I knew no one would read it. The internet moved on in a week. They always do. But me? I'll never move on. Because in trying to destroy her, I became her. And worse, I liked it.